It's going to be a really, really exciting one for you as well. And hopefully the Oni-chaners and these boys can continue their dominance here. It's going to be Elevate versus Game Over to conclude the day. Elevate, a big name in Paladins console sports, but they've bounced around a lot from NA Xbox now over here.
I can't remember if it's one or two, maybe 3 max players that are on this roster that were on the same one that was able to win HRX earlier this year in January. Sir James Parker, one of the ones that I think is most notable, one of the players that we see pretty much every single LAN. And with the way Oni-channers and Elevate are going, has the most potential to potentially not be there. And it's a lot of players throughout the last pretty much split that were the shoe-in. Like, okay, this team always comes to LAN, this team always comes to LAN. That just might not be able to make it because the competition level has risen.
Well, Elevate ban out a lot of carry champions here. Talus and Willow gone. Vivian, the first pick here on Bright Marsh. Andro will be up second, followed by the Inara here. Elevate have the choice to come back. I'm surprised that Moji just disappeared from console. I don't know what just made me think of that, but like, I remember she used to be
Moji.
Such a big part.
Especially on Bright Marsh when she'd come in and literally it would just be 4-0s on console for Moji. I don't know what happened either. I'm kind of curious if that was something that, you know, a lot of the champions have kind of fluctuated in and out of meta based on the aim settings that we've seen, based on what's just being hot at the moment. Maybe she's in that area where it's just like, well, why play her if I can play Androxus?
I guess that's true, right? You know, Moji's always good for people that don't have the most precise aim in the business.
You literally just hold both triggers and kind of move your right stick wherever you need to.
I like it. I like it a lot here. Guys, cast your vote in the poll for today. Who you think is going to win this Elevate Game Over game here? On paper, I honestly like both compositions. I would give a slight edge to Game Over here, but again, that is just simply on paper that I would do that.
Elevate have a really good draft. Ying is probably the weakest link overall, but Game Over have Ball and Berry on the Genos.
They
never know if it's going to be enough.
And you know how I feel about Ball and Berry. Not a guy that I want to sleep on any day of the week. On pretty much any champion at this point here. Bright Marsh loaded up for game number 1, guys. It's ready to rock and to roll all day long.
You know, I feel like now's a good story time.
Okay.
Because I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, I remember seeing a lot of players very, very confused as to why Ball and Berry has this mythos around him. And it's just that there was at one point in days of old when the PGS was qualifiers for 3 weeks in the finals that he comes out of nowhere. Like, never heard of his name before. He's playing Genos, he's a support, but he's getting triple kills out, like, just like crazy. He's out damaging his DPS. And it is one of those things you don't get to see that often. And then when you have a name like Ball and Berry, it is so easy to remember.
Some guys were just born to ball on Gate Mythic. He's got the new Inara skin, the Iron Maiden here. Love this skin.
Man.
Was that Inara that made that noise?
As someone who plays Inara all the time,
this skin is
so well deserved. I love it. And it looks so nice. This weapon sounds good too.
The wall, I mean, the sound. Voice pack is a big part of skins for me personally. And I heard some scary sounding noise that I can only imagine came from Inara. I don't actually know. I didn't get the chance to hear her voice back on the Patch Notes show. Oh, wow. That was definitely her. She's got that cool, nice little echo thing going on for her. Lovely.
Unfortunately, it's not going to be enough to keep her alive. No matter how cool you look, it's not always going to win you games. Unfortunately, the skins aren't pay to win. So you do have to deal with the fact that sometimes you'll just have to watch yourself ragdoll as you get pushed out by Elevate, which at this point is just dominating. On the sides, double blaster, or not double blaster, but being able to go for the Drogos, having that comfortably. Bomb King is normally the person who I would give a leg up on this map, except for the fact that you can do this as Drogos. This is probably his favorite thing to do on any map, which is the same thing Willow likes to do. Sit up top and just rain hell from above.
Hell yeah, brother. Now, GR, beautiful spit, beautiful salvo there. Plenty of damage in the backline. Getting the Dragon Punch charged up nice and quick. And now he just kind of rotates over to the window here. Finds 1,300 damage onto Destro Knight, who's pretty much trapped in a corner now. One more Fire Spit is really going to put some havoc in. Doesn't quite find the kill. And Nara Trying to get out of that one, but will not escape. Neither the Fire Spit nor the Dragon Punch. As Elevate GR himself keeps up the pressure here on the right-hand side.
And just being able to play it at this angle has been so gorgeous with where these rockets are flying, where these Fire Spits are going. Destronaut, I don't think, has had a moment of uptime where he's just not taking damage from this Drogos. It is going almost all in favor of GR. And you could say that he's going crazy.
You just can't plan for that rocket connecting there. More Fire Spits from these cheeky little angles on the windows, the salvos, the damage from GR at the moment is pretty crazy. I want to actually take a look at the charts here and see how far, if he is above the rest of the pack here. Galaxy's doing a great job keeping it close. But then you look at SJP, you look at Whoosh keeping it close, just about 5,000 damage away. How much damage this Drogos was pouring out to then just look down just a couple of thousand below him and realize that Vivian and Makoa are right there as well. It's a lot to deal with for game over, and I don't blame them for taking a back seat in that first round.
Overall, Elevate only dropped 2 deaths, and both of them go on to Galaxy, who admittedly is playing one of his stronger champions. Bomb King is incredibly good, and he is one of the players that I think originally on console kind of showcased that you can, in fact, play Bomb King, or at least in my memory, he was one of the first ones I saw competitively successful with it. Unfortunately, when you're up against a team like Elevate, you can't just have you being successful. You have to find a little bit more. And overall, even if he has some good pressure, you can't beat the salvo.
Cheeky salvo indeed. Stunned out from that Fire Spit. Can we look at the KDs one more time here? I just wanted to confirm one more thing before I talked about it, and Ball and Berry is kind of that thing that I wanted to talk about. I don't manage, despite the dominance in that first round, I don't think Elevate was actually able to kill the God himself.
The God himself. Ball and Berry potentially.
He's lining it up, dude. He's lining up that time and space right now. I can smell it. I can smell it. I can smell Barry wanting it. I can smell Barry hitting it too, baby! Even when his team's getting crushed, Ball and Berry find a way to ball out on them boys.
Unfortunately, GR, SJP coming in and making sure to try and shut it down, but not shutting down Ball and Berry. Just the rest of the team, at least trying to keep them under wraps. As of right now, I mean, 17%. If he can charge it up one more time, dude, I wouldn't mind seeing him throw it out again.
What an absolute god, you know? He's just 100% legend at this point. But he's on the low ground here, Gormizer. This is it's bad news for Ball and Berry. He has to take a back seat here. Elevate, crushing it at the moment, wiping game over off the face of Brightmarsh. A lot of ultimates to work with for either squad. It's just going to be a matter of who's able to find the value. SJP pops the Sentinels. Salvo Spit ready to go here for GR. He's sitting on the Dragon Punch as well, and he's just going to rip right out of the garage with it.
Coming through, gets a full health and Nara with the punch. That's going to be perfect. SJP going to be able to clean up a little bit more. That's a double kill coming down from the Fire Spit.
Ball and Berry safe and sound in spawn, though. For any of those concerned, he did manage to survive that final teammate. Everyone on warm-up except Ball and Berry does survive there. Love to see it. Game 2. Unable to bring that one to you, unfortunately, but it was a 4-0 for Elevate, so they do manage to grab the set here today, and that will pretty much conclude the action for console here today. We've seen a lot of the same thing here. A lot of teams clinching. We want to congratulate all those teams that were able to clinch. We're going to head to the standings here and talk a little bit about what you saw. Kirsty's Hands and Onslaught, though, that's what I'm really excited for. Next Monday, those two will square off for the spot at LAN to represent North American Xbox, traditionally the strongest region in console Paladins.
Although I'd say a lot right now is probably getting shaken up just because not only is PS4 starting to look like a much more contested region, Flashpoint's still dominating, but definitely Cyclone, Brutal Fissure teams to look at. The same thing goes for EU Xbox, where you have Vexed, but Viral right behind them, Radiant right behind them. So a lot of these teams are really stepping up to the point where, yes, only 4 are going, but the 12, essentially, that are in contention are right there.
What are they playing for, Gormizer? Where are they trying to go?
Why? HRX.
Oh, gee whiz, that sounds like a lot of fun. Where can I get my tickets for that?
Why, highresexpo.com.
Oh, my goodness.
November 16th through the 18th. Make sure to mark it on your calendar.
Huh, perfect.
And get yourself a hotel
right before
room.
Thanksgiving, right when I don't have anything to do? Oh, man. The only thing that could make this better is Well, something to do after the event.
But wait!
What?
There's an after party!
Oh my goodness, Score
For
Miser.
the low price of $50, you can come have yourself a good time.
That's it?
A couple of drinks, an arcade, laser tag, a giant bowling alley, as well as a rope obstacle course thing that's up in the air. It's really cool.
Well, I don't know about you guys at home, but I'm sold. I know where I'm spending my money for Thanksgiving break here, guys. We have our post show coming up, hosted by the legend himself to my left, Gore Miser. I will be there. Rain Day will be there. No surprises there. It's gather round. We're going to throw it to a quick break as we get set up.
It's been a little bit since I've been able to watch that. About a week, since it's come through. So I'm happy that we got to sit through and see that intro again. Score Miser. I'm sitting here. I realized it was still on my single, and I'm looking over here towards the rest of the table. That's Rain Day.
Towards
that's pretty
these
here.
beautiful idiots.
That's
over
that's
to my
what
left.
that's what 8 sets does to you. Is you forget that you have to intro everything and then come through and actually talk about the show.
7.5, right? Only one.
Oh yeah,
in
true.
That last one.
So today was I want to say an overall an interesting day. We get 2 teams overall, and both of them in Europe, that do clinch themselves their spot. I think Flashpoint technically was able to, because of their record, get their spot last week, but now for sure, 5-0 as well as Vexed 5-0 can come to HRX and perform for the console wars.
Yeah, buddy.
Congratulations. You know, it's not easy road to travel, but to get there again and again and again, to get to every LAN, all year.
It's a long road for these guys. That's a lot. I feel like more games than they've had to play in the past, because normally it was a console series, right? It just mirrored the sort of format of the PGS. They just had to play once to qualify and then once to win the phase, and they were good to go. But now, having to play every single week, a lot of these regions being more competitive, it's certainly a much greater achievement this time around.
Well, especially, you look at Flashpoint, and I feel like there's still kind of a gap between them and number 2, number 3.
Yeah.
But the rest of the EU PS4 guys are pretty much all right next to each other. But then when you look over towards the EU Xbox, I mean, there was never really a true guarantee that Vex was going to be the team that came. I mean, Radiant was looking good.
They were.
OTP, even though they weren't able to find wins, were still looking like they might be able to cause an upset. So there was a lot. Oh, and Viral, of course, I can't even forget, was another team that was a dark horse. So out of all 4 of those, yes, Vex was the one I think that everyone would have put their money on, but it was definitely not guaranteed.
I saw that too with Radiant and Sputney, man. I mean, they looked like they had found something there, and he comes from a long history of playing Paladins, but it was just, Vexed and Flashpoint cleaning it up. I mean, I wouldn't expect any other representatives of those regions. I mean, at this late in the year too, it's hard for a team to get going and just take it down. That's why it'd be really crazy if NIP were able to do that in the PPL.
I wonder if we see, because we talked about North American Xbox being historically the best region, but now that not to say that they're not anymore, right? They're just the most competitive. We still have to watch that tiebreak on Monday. I wonder if that's just going to make them even better, you know what I mean? Because it is so close, the fact that they had to work so hard for that LAN spot, if they just continue to be as dominant, or if enough of that talent, that original 10 teams from the Console Wars finals in Valencia has disseminated throughout the rest of the scene, that there is going to be someone, or maybe someone from Europe now, that can take the crown again.
I'm actually happy you mentioned that Xbox set, because that was or both of them were pretty much blink and you miss it. Like, if you were not paying attention, then those sets were finished before you even recognized what happened. There was a lot that went right pretty much for both of the teams on top. Kirsty's Hands, which is now Cryptic, as well as Onslaught. I almost forgot their name. But the one person that stood out to me the most, Onslaught, you kind of expect to be successful, but SoldierBot, who has been bouncing around team to team to team, he looks incredible in this. He gets to play Koga, I think, 1 game, maybe 2 games, and it just looked phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Koga. I did. He was, very active as far as just letting his thoughts be known over the week and how he felt. You couldn't tell if it was a Koga bait or not, but he ended up, feeling good on this. The real question is this still Koga, right? This isn't a Koga that anyone has the privilege of playing, except those whose systems haven't updated yet, and that happened to be the case for Xbox. But Master of Arms is going to be about half as effective, and does that mean that he doesn't get those kills?
Yeah.
Does it mean that he dies earlier on because he can't trade out? Those things are really going to be the question mark for me.
And that's why I'm so excited to watch this last moment, this week 6 tiebreak between these 2 teams, because we saw some 1.6 on the PS4 guys, and because of that, I don't know, maybe the buffs, the nerfs, or whatever it was, just Master of Arms being taken down, we saw Koga go unbanned, unpicked in some of those games down the stretch. And I'm wondering, that's why that conversation I think is important about Fury on PC as well. Like, nerfing and buffing why those characters are picks versus, like, yes, the Claw's got a buff, but the Claw's never used anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Right.
That's what I think is important to look at for Koga. What made him so great on console got directly nerfed, cut in half.
Yeah.
I'm actually thinking that Xbox, North American Xbox specifically, is my favorite region to watch right now. Mainly because next week is going to be so tight for them, but also because you're in this weird position where last week, when we see Happy Battle Cats beat Onslaught, there's a couple of factors. One is I think Happy Battle Cats looked phenomenal because they had Soldier Bot on their team at the time. But also Tay was on the other side for Onslaught, so they didn't exactly have the support that they normally play with, the way that they're normally feeling as a team. And so going into this, having Soldier Bot, who I think was a primary reason for Happy Battle Cats being able to beat Onslaught, do you think that Kersey's Hands has that option now, or do you think that it's going to be an Onslaught show?
I don't know. I mean, I think one of the things that was hard to tell about this too is Frog Isle, super quick map, and that's where they got so much momentum. But then Soldier Bot coming from the team he was just playing on, I don't know if that is like, I mean, that's a big detriment because they got to find someone else. So that means they're not going to be it. And then he's played with them. So, like, he knows what they're up to, how their comms work, what they're trying to do, what spots they want to get to. And so it felt like, I don't know, at the end of the race, kind of like switching teams and then being like, ha, I fooled you all along, double agent. And, it may not have actually been that way, but it definitely has the same results of, like, now you have to change up your whole strategy to beat me.
It's scary, man, because there's a lot going into it. So I was going to say there's no way Soldier Bot looks as good against Onslaught on Monday as he did today, but he kind of did look that good against Onslaught when he was playing for Happy Battle Cats just a week ago. Like, he kind of had a lot of those big moments.
Yeah.
But Koga's getting slowed down, so there's a lot of, like, changes and shifts in the scales of this matchup that's happening over the course of these 2 weeks. So I don't know if it's still going to be the same way that it shakes out. So I think it makes it all the more exciting to actually just sit down and watch the game.
Yeah.
The other one that I think everyone is kind of anticipating at this point is the fact that Oni Channers have been looking phenomenal. Elevate
They
have been looking phenomenal. So both of the North American regions, which overall usually are the teams that make it to the finals, usually are the teams that can either come out. Xbox right now reigning supreme. But do you think that if Oni Channers, especially in their form, or Elevate, make it, do they have a chance against any of the other teams? Like, I mean, EU PS4, EU Xbox usually tend to fall. But do you think that the NA PS4 guys can beat the NA Xbox?
Man, I don't know.
I think PS4 is turned into, one of those more contested regions with Flashpoint's win. Where across the board, Europe and North America, they have hope now that they can get a W. I don't know if that's going to translate into, beating your other North American counterpart, if that's an Xbox, with Skeppy and those guys. And even if you're looking at just the PS4 counterpart, outdoing your other PS4 counterpart across the pond or land winners. So it is a hard road for them to travel, but do they have the talent? I think Elevates believe that since this last LAN. I don't know if they'll get there, but
I think this is the best
they
that
believe it.
NA PS4 has ever looked, to their credit. As strong as NA Xbox has been, there's been so much of that talent that has sat in that scene for so long, and now a good chunk of it has moved over to that PS4 scene. A lot of guys are getting better. Again, this is the best I think NA PS4 has ever looked.
Actually, and I don't know if we have this queued up or not, but being able to see the standings, the way things went for North America, just because, again, you're looking at these teams that are dominating. And I think for the most part, we see these 5-0 teams be pretty much confirmed. That's the same way it is for Flashpoint, the same way it is for Vex. But I think Elevate and Oni Channers, specifically because they're the team that's 5-0, are in this awkward position where technically there's still a good chance for Elevate, but I think it relies not only on Oni Channers losing, but some of the other teams causing an upset. Like today, if Warm Up had been able to win, which, as we can see afterwards, was never going to happen, it definitely could have caused a much bigger upset overall in the PlayStation order. But you look at North American Xbox and things are neck and neck for the top.
I mean, they have to play each other next week, right? Oni Channers and Elevate. Doesn't that have to be the case, or is that not? Because didn't Elevate lose?
So.
I mean, otherwise Oni Channers would have had a loss.
Well, they could just switch matchups from what they played, right? So Elevate would play.
Right, but Elevate's only
warm-up?
loss. My only thing is Elevate's only loss is to Oni Channers. And Oni Channers,
if that's the case, then
haven't taken a loss, right? So it's either would it be 2 losses if they 2-0'd that, or Elevate would have tied one up, and I don't think that's the case because then they both would have been 4-1. So I would assume that is it. I don't have the schedule in front of me, obviously, and so we'll find out throughout the week. I'm sure someone out there I'm sure most of you guys watching know. That's the thing, our job. We kind of have broadcasts all the time, so we fly by the seat of our pants at times. But I think the real key is that if you can just have a good set, knowing next week matters. We have 2 regions that are going to be really, really exciting to watch that we don't know who's going to qualify on that North American side.
Do you guys have any final thoughts for the way that today went? Like, was everything kind of as expected, except for maybe missing a game towards the end, or did anything stand out?
I think it was great. I mean, you got a couple of those teams. They just got it out of the way, got their spots clinched, but we still have enough to watch next Monday that it's going to be an exciting day overall.
Well, I think I'm excited with where console's been going. The teams have been just constantly rising in terms of skill, and with everyone on 1.6 next week, I think it's going to be a lot more interesting to be able to see the Xbox teams as well.
Yeah.
But that's going to be it for today, this Monday. Remember, you can tune in live.skillshot.com tomorrow at 11 for the PGS, tomorrow at 3 p.m. here on Mixer, actually, if you want to be able to watch the PPL that'll be going on this week, again, Tuesday through Friday at 3 p.m. Make sure you don't miss those games. But until next time, we'll see you later.